Hello YouTube and welcome to an account that has been playing this game longer than I have. We are on server 2 with Galabar. His account is level 401, VIP 8, and take a look at this. We have Vulcan, we have Aspen, we have Halora, Betty, Natalia, all at A tier except for the Betty who's a B+. We have Elena and we have Eos. Then you can see we have a lot of people who are tenants all built up to Tree of Origin 5, Tree of Origin 4, respectively. And then we have this weird Arania and Azrael. You can probably tell we're missing a HHA. That's an Alac, for those of you that don't speak shortened names. And we're also missing a Freya. Now, the Freya being missing is not so bad. We have an A tier Natalia to take her place, but the lack of Alac is going to be felt by this account. So today we're going to be overhauling some things, tuning this account up, and also hopefully improving the transition temple and taking our temple level to level 4, which is going to be a massive power spike for this account. So by sorting through everything, tidying it up, we will have a huge and satisfying transformation. Now, before we get started, one thing I noticed was I don't like a lot of the stats on these A-minuses. We've got ourselves Giant Killer, Skill Damage, Control Immunity Offset. I don't hate this on Vulcan. I really like Skill Damage and Giant Killer. And there is some control in Vulcan's abilities, so Control Immunity Offset is not the end of the world. But if you look at Aspen, we've got Giant Killer, Crit Damage, and Reduced Damage over time received. I don't like these abilities. I wish it was more aggressive, and there was like Giant Killer, Defire here. I think this could be better. But then if we keep looking, the Halora, Holy Armor, Control Precision, Holy Damage, not ideal. You'd rather have more defensive stats here, but I don't think it's as important to swap this as it is to swap the Aspen. And then finally, we have the Natalie, and Natalia's got Giant Killer, Defire, Control Precision. Control Precision isn't doing anything. I don't think Defire is necessarily needed here. It's still nice, though, for initial burst. I'd rather we had something defensive in here, personally. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the Aspen. I'm going to hopefully get a more aggressive Aspen copy. Then we'll switch to Natalia. And if we have anything left over, we'll put that in Halora. So we're going to start by swapping our Awakens. So hopefully we get something good. Starting off with block damage reduction, that is not good. I want to see some crazy Giant Killer stat here on the Aspen. It would be really cool to see something very aggressive. Oh! Holy crap! Giant Killer, Defire, and Control Immunity Offset. That's really good. Considering that Lord of Fear Aspen can fear, that's great. That's really good. That improves his control abilities and improves his damage. That is almost a perfect roll, and some would say it is one of the better ones that you can have. That is a fantastic copy of Lord of Fear Aspen. In that case, let's go to Natalia and try and get us something defensive. Come on, we want Giant Killer with a defense stat. That's not good enough. Come on, 4 left. Holy Armor, Control Immunity, Reduced Damage over time received. If only Reduced dot received was Giant Killer. Come on, 3 left. Faction Rule, no. 2 left. Oh, stop it. Stop it now. Last one. Unlucky, man. Unlucky. Still, we got an insanely good copy on Aspen. I would try and refresh this Natalie a few more times. Try and get Giant Killer, Divine Block, or Giant Killer, Holy Armor. But still, getting that insane copy of Aspen with Giant Killer, Defire, and Control Immunity Offset is really nice to see. So now we need to start adjusting this account. You can see we already have Betty as a homeowner, with Lord of Death Azrael and Arania as tenants. Galabar was telling me he just did that because he didn't know who his additional homeowner should have been. But honestly, guys, it should have been Alac, and I think Galabar should have known better. He has been in this community for 3 years now. Silly boy. So what we're going to go ahead and do is rip this Betty down. Now, the reason I want this is because I want all of the sublimation out of Betty. Normally, you don't need to sublime Betty. The most important thing is her core. We've got a 2-star core here, which is nice. I wouldn't take this any higher. I would prioritize heroes that we want to Destiny. In this account's case, it's going to be Natalie and Elena. I think they're really important heroes to get Destiny on, and it will give us some really powerful Destiny heroes to use. On top of that, we also have a full core for Alac. So it seems that at some point, Galabar decided to have Alac. I'm not quite sure why he got rid of him, but today we will be building him back. So let's go start things off here in the Celestial Island, go to the Cloud Island, and remove Betty from her home. That's going to free up our tenants as well, which is really helpful. And now we need to go ahead and find our Alac copy. So if we look in here, we already have an E5 Alac built, so that's going to be pretty helpful. So I'm going to unlock him, and I'm going to make sure all our heroes are taken out of arena as well. So now we need to start thinking about where we're moving our stuff around to. I'm going to go to the Gate of the Void, and I think our first main step here is going to be in the evolution cube. We have loads of soul symbols, so we can do some quite nice tricks. So our trick involves going to our replacement menu. We need to stick Alac in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick in Betty. This is going to swap Betty with Alac and get us everything out of this Betty, whilst also transcending Alac. This is perfect. Next step is to put in Arania and replace her with Betty, which gets Betty rebuilt. That's going to remove all the Stellar Shards off of Arania, which is going to be helpful for us because we will need those. And I'm going to do the same thing here with the Lord of Death Azrael, but switching back into Arania, which means we can keep the Arania if we ever wanted to make Betty a homeowner. And there we are. Now if we go to the evolution menu, we can rebuild that Azrael by putting in our copy here that is E5, and that's going to make him into a Transcendence hero. There we go. Now, the reason this is possible is because Galabar does have almost 20 million Crystals of Transcendence, which is extremely helpful. So that's nice. Now, that's also got us a ton of Stellar Shards. Yeah, we have 26 million, and it's also going to open up a ton of 10-star food as well. But another thing I want to do is, you see this Geista and this Azrael? I want to break them down as well. Now, I'm a bit annoyed by the fact these have really, really, really nice stones on them. But I don't think we need to worry too much about those stones because we do have 11 million magic dust. So I think to save us some soul symbols, I am just going to basically destroy these just using the normal option, which is to convert them and destroy them. So let's regress this. That's going to break everything free, giving us back another 5.2 million Stellar Shards. I'm going to do the same thing here with the Azrael, because if you're putting heroes like this in a Betty house, you don't need them to be Tree of Origin 1. So let's just go to convert, regress, and get this broken down. Okay, now we do want those tenants back. So now I'm going to build back Betty and Azrael as E5s, just in case we ever want to make Betty a homeowner. Wow! You had awakened Azraels inside that Azrael? Bro, what? Are your other heroes like that too? No! Bro, what are you doing? Okay. Immediately fixing this. Oh shit, Galabar's gems! They're so low! Oh mate, every freaking hero? Really? Okay, not Arania. Bro, if I look at this Vulcan and Aspen and they're blemished. What the frick? No! C minuses, man! What are you doing? Right, next time you've got loads of gems, you need to sort this out. This is horrendous. Don't tell me Aspen's the same. Oh, of course he is. Bro. Halora? Okay, at least she's clean. Natalie? No. Ah, right. Awful, awful thing to do, because you can't destroy these for contract story gems. They're now just wasted. And given how many chests Galabar has, he can totally fix this, because he has so many 5-star chests. So next time, Galabar, you've got a ton of gems, go through, sort that mess out. Okay, as you can see, we've got our Betty and our Azrael built to E5. Next we need to do is take up this Alac by making him Tree of Origin 5. So we need to start with Void 4, and then keep going until we've got his tree upgraded. And I want to give him the sublimation that was inside of our Betty. But you can see here, we've actually ran out of Spiritual Essence, which is because Galabar has extraordinarily aggressively upgraded the Tree of Origin levels of his heroes. You see we have Tree of Origin 5 Mockman, Azrael, Tree of Origin 4 on the Aspen, and the Onkiramaru. Those heavy investments have actually rendered him without the ability to upgrade his other heroes. That means in the case of our B plus Betty, if we want her to have a Tree of Origin level as well, we're going to need to rip down some of these heroes. So we're going to do a little trick to get some more Spiritual Essence on the account. I'm going to go and turn the Mockman that we have into a Transcendence hero, because doing this doesn't actually cost us any soul symbols. It's just going to use some of these crystals of Transcendence we have. And then what we can do is we can go to the replacement menu, we can put that Mockman in, and then I can add the other tenant we have here, which is this Azrael. And that's actually going to take all the Spiritual Essence off of the Lord of Death Azrael as well. Because what happens when you switch to Transcendence heroes, it removes all of their Tree of Origin stuff. So we get everything back from both heroes, which is absolutely fantastic. And that's going to allow us to upgrade the Alac, those last few levels we need. So let's go to the tree. We're 107, and here we should easily get to 120. And now we should go ahead and put in the Noble Core of Origin. Now, because we destroyed Betty, we're going to go ahead and use all the sublimation that was inside of her to upgrade all of these skills on Alac as well, so we can start putting destiny improvements on him. Alright, there we go. That's fully subbed and level 120, so I'm going to go check out our destiny stuff. So we have exactly 6 Aurora Gems, which is enough to go ahead and activate the destiny here on the Alac. And let's go destiny rise him to Origin level 100. Alright, there we go. That's Origin level 100 on the Alac, which means we can do what we need to do to get the Destiny Temple up. We have 2 Origin heroes, 2 Surge heroes, so let's level that up, and now the Temple is upgraded. This is fantastic. Now, we already know we have at least 2 heroes at Chaos 100, so if you go ahead and take a look at DTV, he's Chaos 100, as is the Aspen. Now, we have Origin 100 on both the Halora and the Alac. So what we need to do is get one of those even higher. So if we go to the Transition Temple, what we have is just the need to build another hero to Surge 1, and that's going to get our temple to level 4, which is a huge improvement. Level 4 is going to get us even more Divine Power. We get +2 here, and it also allows us to take a hero beyond Chaos 100, so we can make them Core 100, which gives us extra power for our main hero. That's going to be a massive boost here for Galabar. So we need to ask ourselves where the heck we're going to get those resources from. The easiest place is actually here with the Alac. So what I need to do is destroy the Alac and get all these resources back. Now, we still have like 135 soul symbols, so what I'm going to do is a little trick to get us even more spiritual essence back off this Aspen. So let's go to the evolution cube, let's replace, and we're going to put in our Alac. I believe he might be locked or something, let's see. No, he isn't, that's excellent. And we're going to put in our Tree of Origin 4 Aspen as well, and this replacement is going to get us all the materials back off both of these heroes. You can see all the Destiny stuff comes back as well. That's fantastic. Right, having made that switch, we've now got back some of our Destiny stuff that was inside the Alac, and we're now on 6 Divine Power Aurora Gems and 4,500 Aurora Gem Shards. To upgrade the Queen, we're gonna need 1 more Aurora Gem. We are less than 500 off, which is heartbreaking, but there is a way we can get this, and that's by fighting the bosses. So we now need to level up our heroes to build ourselves a little team to help us in the Void bosses. So with all that replacing we've done, we get so many of our resources back, which is going to be fantastic. So we've got a lot of stuff to set up for houses, and it should make these fights really easy. So we'll just do this little switch here. It puts Alac back on the account, and now we need to start leveling things up. So what I'm going to do is the Betty we built and the Alac, I'm going to get both of those up to Tree of Origin, and then we'll level them up as we need to build this team properly, and then we'll make sure we've got all our tenants upgraded, ready to go. Okay, so Betty's Void 4, let's take her up to Tree of Origin 1. That's the place we want to get her. And that's going to allow us to put in her core. So we'll go ahead, stick a 10-star in here, upgrade, and now we'll equip the core, and that's Betty good enough for now. Okay, so that's Void 4 on Alac. I'm going to take him all the way up to Tree of Origin 5 because we want to maximize his stats, but I'm going to leave him at level 100 because I don't want to Destiny improve him. Because on this particular account, even though we could Destiny Alac earlier, I actually don't think that's the best decision for this account in the long run. I'd much rather have Natalie and Elena Destiny improved with the Aspen, Halora, and the Vulcan. And that's 5 fantastic Destiny heroes you can really get a lot of mileage out of. So I think it's more important that we keep those around. So there you go, that's level 100, that's enough for Tree of Origin 5. There you go, fully upgraded. And we'll leave it. I don't want to put any subs in yet, but I will equip the core. If we can, I'd love to get a better Awaken on the Alac. That's more of a tenant here, C+ with B-, B-. So if we can get a good B copy Galabar, that would be great. Right, now when it comes to the rest of our heroes, you can see we have the Fiona, and then we have Star Alchemist, Holmes-Young, and Swordflash. We need one more hero, and that's going to be an Alac to be a tenant for our main Alac. Fortunately, I've got 8 Alacs in the bag and a ton of 5-star dummies. So that's going to be enough to build ourselves Alac. So that's an E5 Alac built and made, which means we can start to build some of these houses. So let's go back to the Celestial Island and set up all of our homes. So we've got our Vulcan, we've got our Aspen, and we have a third house here that's all level 100. I'm assuming we don't have any skins. No, so that could be something to grab. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and put our Alac in there. And then we're going to add his tenants, which is going to be this Alac. We've got Star Alchemist Holmes Young. We've got Fiona. And then finally on the end, we have the Sword Flash. Now you can see the bonus is very, very low. That's mainly because we don't have any Void imprints on these heroes. And the heroes that we do have don't actually have great Awakens. Awakens make such a huge difference to the stats of your heroes. Because Fiona, Alac have no upgrades. Same goes here for the Sword Flash and for the Star Alchemist Holmes Young. It might be a good idea to get those equipped. In the meantime, though, to get some extra stats, what I will do is put Void 3 on these heroes. And I say this a lot, but for new players that don't know, one of the best things you can do when you're upgrading heroes and you don't have a lot of Stellar Shards is if you're trying to enhance your tenants, and for example, they're Transcendence tenants like this one, it's a good idea to go ahead and take them to Void 3. Now, you can see every node around here improves attack and HP, but actually when you get to Void 3, these final 3 only improve HP, speed, and attack. Tenants mainly need to have high attack to improve the attack of your hero, so you only need to upgrade this attack node here. And these other two are just a waste of Stellar Shards because nothing you gain here actually improves your attack. So we just leave it there, and we keep a hero of Void 3 plus the attack node. So you can see now we have Void 3 on both the Sword Flash and the Star Alchemist Holmes Young, which is super duper nice. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the rest of our tenants. So now you can see we've got a lot of our heroes upgraded to Void 3. So thanks to those improvements, Alac is now gaining 1.7 million attack, which is pretty nice. And considering we didn't even have an Alac on this account at the start of the video, I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll fight the Void campaign boss here. And this should be really easy to clear here. Difficulty 6 out of 10, no problem at all. So we'll go ahead, put in our challenge attempt. We'll run Vulcan, Aspen, Halora, Natalie, Elena, Alac. On our front line, I'll put Halora. We'll put our Aspen so he's hitting the boss there. Vulcan's on the back as well. Now, considering Halora is the fastest hero on the team, I'm going to use Wolf so it synergizes with the bleed. And I'm probably going to run Aspen's core here because that's going to give us more control immunity and it's actually going to buff Vulcan's damage. This should work really nicely. Hopefully, we get the win. We've got Auspicious Lucky Cat, Golden Crown, 3 energy feed artifacts, and a fan on our Aspen. And also we should be blocking, so we should get a lot of shields here for the lineup. And with all the control protection we gain from Purify, Elena, and our control immunity imprints, we should be okay against the control effects of the opponents. So you can see there Halora's been CC. That's probably not going to be too much of an issue. We should break free nicely, assuming an enemy does an active skill. We're stunning them as well here, which is nice. You've got our active skills now coming out from our heroes. Big damage is going to be coming from the Aspen and the Vulcan. It's round 2 now. Hopefully Halora does get an active here. We're CC'd. We do break free though thanks to Elena. And we're keeping those pings coming out there on the opponents, which is fine. You can see thanks to Alac as well, we're just constantly getting shields. There you go. Vulcan does his first active skill. A little bit of poke damage coming out there. Aspen's also fully charged with energy. Alac losing a lot of HP there. I did not like that. Might need to go with a more defensive artifact on him. Elusive Mirror is a little bit greedy. Unbending Will has been triggered on him. That is scary. Aspen, if you could get an active skill right now on the boss, that would be great. Please, buddy. We need to see it. We need to kill this big guy. There's Alac's active. There's Halora. And there you go. Aspen, ooh, not managing to crit the boss. That is unfortunate. But we do get the Wolf coming out here, which is going to buff our main damage dealers. Hopefully we get some nice energy feed here too. Shields coming in heavily now. Really, really good to see. Alac back to full health. Still with Unbending Will up. And his shields are nice and strong. Vulcan's active, putting some more chip damage into the opponents. That's really good to see. And Aspen should do a nice smack onto the boss here. Hopefully still into fire range. We'll see. Might give us a little bit of damage there. And also Aspen does extra damage when enemies are below 60% as well. So potential extra damage coming out there afterwards too. Not to forget that they've both got Balance Strike as well, so hopefully we can get a big hit here from the Aspen. I'd love to see it. Well, it's now time. Ah, nah, he barely did anything. That's unlucky. Okay. Slow journey. Really slow journey here. We're still fine though, we're completely okay. There you go. Finally a nice big active skill from Aspen. All we needed was that little bit of time and a little bit of luck. And there you go. No problem at all. Damage is completely fine. Survival's insane. You can see we have massive, massive amounts of shields. And we should churn this to pieces. And yeah, Galabar, it's such a crazy difference that putting an Alac on a team makes. He's really, really strong. And that should be it. Yep, Vulcan massively killing. Beautiful amount of damage. I wonder who did the most. It was Vulcan with 7 trillion damage, 3.5 trillion coming there from Aspen. Fantastic. That's going to get us these Aurora Gem shards, which we do need to improve the Destiny level of the account. So let's go ahead to our Halora. Let's go into the Destiny transition. We're going to go ahead and convert these gems, and that's going to take us to a point now where we can Destiny rise another level and get her to Surge 100. Let's level it up. And there you go. That is going to be Surge level 100. Now, what's special about that is I can now go to the Destiny Temple, and we can go ahead, level it up, and that's going to be level 4, which, as I said earlier, is going to give us an even bigger bonus to our Divine Power, and mean that we can take another hero to a higher level, which is going to be fantastic for Vulcan or Aspen. In the case of Vulcan, his next level here is going to get him a little bit of extra damage, which is pretty nice, with a chance to freeze if you chose that node, or if you want to go for Aspen, you can take him up as well, giving him even more damage, and that's pretty nice. If the target's HP is no less than 50, he gets that bonus bit of damage, which is pretty fun. But yeah, he does need more Divine Power Aurora Gems if he's going to do that, and I think the best way to achieve them is just by passively gaining them from events. And if we take a look, how we doing for our Scattered Spirit Vein shards? Yeah, we're looking okay here. The other way we can get more Divine Power Aurora Gems is just by attacking more things here in the Void campaign. With our new lineup, we should get a lot more progress against these bosses, which shouldn't be too hard at all. Also, we haven't technically fully optimized the account yet. We still have a lot of sublimation lying around, and we still have a ton of Stellar Shards, so we can still do more tuning to make this even more powerful. But now we have the base version of the team together. There's a few options. We could improve Betty to Tree of Origin 5. I don't dislike that. I think that's a pretty fine option. Other things we could consider as well is taking the level of our tenants higher to like Tree of Origin 3, let's say. I do want to check that we have a good number of spiritual essence. We do. So when it comes to Destiny heroes, it's not impossible to take up Natalie and Elena. But if we are going to do that, I want to make sure that these guys have fully maxed sublimation so that they're ready to go. However, upgrading, I think it is worth upgrading this, actually. It's going to remove one additional control effect. I like that a lot. Finishing off this basic's also really good. Fully subbing Elena is no issue. And with the Natalie as well, getting her fully upgraded sets her up beautifully so that we can go ahead and make her Destiny as well. So there's lots of options here to improve the power level of the team. The only issue is spreading that stuff around is going to stop you getting passive 2 on Alac. It's not the end of the world, but the defense you gain from his passive 2 is really, really good. It's probably important that you just finish off the subs here because you do have a lot lying around. So let's just do that real quick. Let's get these guys fully upgraded. I will ignore passive 2 real quick, but actually if you look, we have exactly enough basic attack sublimation to get this finished. There you go. And we'll upgrade this one here on the end. That's nice. And Elena's tree is 114. Is it actually? Why? Why, Galabar? What the hell? Why did you do this? That's wild. You were bringing it to 120? Clearly, but you don't even have a core yet. Don't upgrade a hero to 120 if you haven't maxed their core. There's no point doing it. There's no point doing that at all. The only reason to take a hero to level 120 is because their core is already noble and you need it for Destiny. Anytime before that, don't bother doing it. It's just a waste. But because we're eventually going to need to do this anyway, and you have tons of other resources, it's not like it's the end of the world. But we'll just leave it there. What I will do, though, is in the case of your Alac, I am going to upgrade his passive 2, just so we have the nice added defense of this and the extra bit of damage. And then what you will need to do is get a sublimation chest and use that sublimation chest to finish off the Elena passive, which we have here, and also the Natalie passive. And with both of those two finished off with a single melon chest, you should be absolutely fantastic. It's just a shame we don't have one lying around in the bag. Once that's done, you're kind of in a situation where it doesn't matter where you go next. You just want to get the power of the team higher and higher. So your next goal here, after you get that sublimation chest, is to focus on cores of origin and get a noble core for Natalie and a noble core for Elena, so they can become your next 2 Destiny heroes. Because if you go take a look at the Transition Temple, to get the next level on here, you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Destiny heroes. And that should be really, really good. And when should you use Betty? You want to use Betty in any wave where her control is going to be very helpful for you. And that could be against opponents who are annoying, like Tix or Holmes Young, or anyone that really is attacking you early and you need to shut them down. In campaign, Betty can be extraordinarily useful for that reason. So yeah, against opponents that can be crowd controlled, it's good to have Betty in. In other cases, you just want to brute force kill them with your Natalie, Aspen, and Vulcan. I will add as well, we can improve the power level of your Alac a little bit more, and I think we're going to do that. We have a lot of spiritual essence and we have a lot of stellar shards. So one thing we can do, because this account is so old, I'm actually going to take the Star Alchemist Holmes Young and the Sword Flash to an even higher level, which is going to improve their attack bonuses even more. So we're going to break this Void 4 cap, and I want to take them to Tree of Origin 3. Because Tree of Origin 3 doesn't actually require a lot of stellar shards or spiritual essence, but it does give you a pretty hefty stat bonus that is worth it. So in the case of heroes that are exclusively tenants, when you have the spare resources, this is actually not a bad idea. Also, because we enhance them, we can now level them up even higher, which is going to give us even more stats for them as tenants, which is really, really good. Also, X upgrades are definitely an option here for Alac, so I want to go ahead and get him to X upgrade level 100, because I've just seen how much gold and spirit we have on this account, so there's no reason not to do this. So there we go, that's X 100 now on the Alac. Fantastic. Now let's just go double check our Stellar. We have 22 million. And how much spiritual essence do we still have? 1.7. Mate, that's still massive. Now here I'm in a weird situation, because I would want to build Mystic Fairy Freya. But because Galabar has A tier on Natalie, I want to use Natalie in almost every single lineup. And because we have two major damage dealers, we have Vulcan and Aspen, it's even tighter on the team to justify running someone like Freya. If you look at a team which we would want, we definitely want Vulcan, we definitely want Aspen, we definitely want Halora, and we want Natalie because she's an A tier, and when we Destiny improve her, she's going to get even stronger. Then, against enemies who crowd control a lot, we're going to want Elena. Against enemies we can crowd control a lot, we're going to want Betty. And in almost every fight, we want Alac to keep us alive. That's 7 heroes to switch and change between, and everyone else here is a tenant. And Galabar says he wants a simple team that's easy to use. So just having the rule that you can swap Elena and Betty around as needs be doesn't make things difficult for him. So personally, what I want to do here is just skip Freya for his sake, and also because we probably don't need it. And in fights like Star Expedition, you can just run Natalie instead, and you'll do perfectly fine. There are also completely fine teams which use Vulcan and Aspen together. There's weird little teams you can throw together there in Star Expedition. Not that they're necessarily going to be optimal, but you can skip Freya and find things that work. So what I think we should do instead, rather than trying to invest heavily into someone like Freya, will improve our tenants, and thus improve the power level of the Vulcan and the Aspen. We have so many Stellar Shards and Spiritual Essence left over, and we still will after these improvements. What I'm going to do is Tree of Origin 3 the Mockman, the Aspen, and we're going to Tree of Origin 3 or Azrael as well. Now, I know they were Tree of Origin 5 and Tree of Origin 4 before, and I know the Yonkiramaru is still Tree of Origin 4. I think that's a little bit too much of a stretch. The resources you gain from Tree of Origin 3 are actually really good for what you put in, which is actually not a lot of Stellar and Spiritual Essence. So what I'm going to do is finish upgrading these guys all the way to Tree of Origin 3, and that's going to be even more stats for the team. So there we go, our Mockman, Aspen, and Azrael are all Tree of Origin 3, which means if we go take a look at the Celestial Island, they should be giving even more stats now. So you can see here the Mockman is now giving 1.7 million, the Azrael's giving 1.3 because Assassins aren't as good, sadly. We've got the Aspen here giving 1.8, and our Onki's also giving 1.8. That's mainly bolstered by the skin here. I also haven't leveled up those guys yet, they're still 350, so we should see an even bigger improvement as well when we level these up. So now if we go take a look, what does that do to Vulcan? Vulcan's 19.9 million, so when you tune him up in a lineup and you make sure you've got flags equipped to all your heroes, you're going to see some lovely stat improvements on him. He should definitely break 20 million. And for Lord of Fear Aspen, he's 22.5 million, which is really, really good as well. We've got the Alac added in here. He's now 9.7 million, nearly at 10. That's great. And yeah, the team overall is looking fantastic. 9.2 here on the Natalie. She's not even in a house. That's really, really good. At this point, we're left with 9.7 million Stellar, which is going to be really nice for improving our Destiny improvements. The same goes with the Crystals of Transcendence, and we just need to get some more Divine Power Aurora Gems saved up on the account, which we could use to improve either Vulcan or Aspen. I'd probably go with Aspen, though, as we will be getting Elena to Destiny, and that'll be another really upgraded tenant on our Aspen, making him much, much stronger. One thing that's also extremely tempting is to make this Alac Void 4. The reason I want to do this is because by doing this, we get ourselves a 15th hero on the account that is Void 4. That also uses that last little 10-star we have here. And by doing that, it means we have a full team of Void 4 heroes for the Void Arc, which actually means Galabar can maximize his resource gain from the Void Arc, and if he's efficient enough, should be able to get in the top 100 of players. So yeah, completely optimal account, looks absolutely gorgeous. And that's a heck of a lot of stats. And it's funny, most of the upgraded heroes here are tenants, which is really cool to see. So a few small things I want to go ahead and change is I want to put a crown on Hyperspace Hunter Alac, and I want to put a elusive mirror onto your Lord of Fear Aspen. It still gives us full energy feed, but we do get a nice little bonus. And I'm going to go ahead and send this in a few more times to fight in Void Campaign. You can also see our team has broken 1 billion power, which is also lovely to see. Let's go ahead and fight. So you can see here we're getting fantastic blocks off for the team, improving our survival massively. There's Vulcan's active, looking really good here. And hopefully with the continuous buffs coming from our artifacts here, should be nice and fine. Oh no, Unbending Will's been triggered on our Natalie. I don't like that. But hopefully she can gain some shields for herself. That would be nice. Yep. Aspen's got an active now too. Should do a massive amount of damage to the boss, if we're fortunate. Let's see it. Great shields back onto Natalie. That's really good. She's getting hit very, very hard though, which I don't like. But Aspen's got that active charged up. Decent chunk of damage there. And there is the wolf coming in again. So we should see a really nice round. Most people on the team with active skills here. I think the boss is going to die. That's my guess here. I think this is the end of the boss. We've got a lot of buffs for the team. We should see a massive burst bit here. Big burst damage. Yeah, that's fantastic. Here comes Vulcan. Will he finish it off? Yes, he does. Amazing stuff. And yeah, now we pretty much get one massive smack from Aspen, and it's going to kill the rest of the lineup, I think. It's assuming we crit. No, unfortunately didn't do that much damage. We did horrify them, though, which is funny. That crowd control going to buy us a little bit of time. Vulcan's got an active here. He should do a lot of damage, too. Let's see it. There you go. Already killing 3 of them. We're left with just 1, and I'm pretty sure an Aspen active skill is going to be enough to seal the deal. Here it comes. Oh, no! But Vulcan gets the finish. Very good. And we now have difficulty 8. Same kind of thing. Let's send it in. And what would be the 6th hero if we didn't have Lord of Fear Aspen? Oh, most definitely Mystic Fairy Freya. Yeah, so if you're looking at an account that can't afford to put an Aspen in a house, definitely have Mystic Fairy Freya in here, just to give you some more survival. She's fantastic. But the added damage, attack steal, and control that Aspen has is arguably more powerful. Especially considering he's an A tier, so Giant Killer Defier really does bring an extra level to the team. And now we're on to another round with big active skills charged up. Let's see how much damage we can do here. So yeah, wow, Aspen managing to kill the boss this time. That's fantastic. Natalie doing some pretty decent damage too. I think Vulcan's charged. Vulcan's going to do a lot here. Oh yeah, a lot of the minions getting murked. Wow, 3 of them dead instantly, leaving just 1 left. I think we're going to see pretty good damage numbers from both Aspen and from Vulcan. And we only went to round 7 here. That's mad. And that's going to be more Aurora Gem Shards, Crystals of Transcendence, and Stellar Shards for you. Really clean. You should have no problem beating difficulty 9 or difficulty 10 as well. So you should absolutely nail this. As well with that team, you can try and find some ways of beating the other bosses. You've got this one here, the Ranger one. With those A tiers and all that damage, you should be able to get at least to Ranger difficulty 4 and 5, maybe 6 if you're lucky. And against this first boss, I can imagine you getting to 6, 7, maybe even 8 if you build a big enough team. Why is the second boss easier to clear than the first? It's mainly because the second boss's thing that makes him powerful is all the crowd control, but by running Elena, we stop that crowd control becoming a problem. And with a hero like Alac, we can actually buffer against a lot of the damage the opponents are doing, and that will allow us to gain shields, which means we can tank massive hits from the boss. So what we have here is a really solid lineup, and if you're ever trying to beat that Void boss, it's good to have Alac and Elena. So this account has been massively transformed, hopefully has a path for the future, and to reiterate what I said earlier, make sure you get that final sublimation upgrade on Natalie, do the same here with Elena, and get Elena to Destiny, then Natalie to Destiny, and hopefully you can even pump out another level in the Destiny Temple. Best of luck to you, Galabar. Your account looks amazing now, and I hope you enjoy the massive change we've done. If you want to join us for account reviews, you can find our Discord server in the description down below. We help out everybody who signs up on a Tuesday, and if you want to be one of those folks, consider joining us for more information over there. If you want to just catch more content, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in future uploads, and until then, guys, have an amazing week, and of course, happy idling.